Hey guys, so I have been getting loads of requests lately for this kind of look, which is pretty much the same look I've been wearing in most of my like non-tutorial videos of late. It's kind of my go-to or my signature look of the moment. I've really been focusing on lips. I've been loving bright pinks and corals and just really lovely bright punchy lipsticks, and kind of going easy enough on the eyes, but I've really fallen back in love with eyeliner. A slightly different shape than what I've been going for in the last couple of years, and just going back to my outer half, which I used to always do when I was younger. But yeah, this has been asked for loads lately, and it's basically this. I just wanted to also say that there is still a giveaway going on LetzMakeup.com at the moment, and it's being sponsored by personmall.com, which is a clothing company, and you can win a piece of clothing by entering the giveaway. It's so simple. All you have to do is leave a comment on the blog. So I'll link to that below. There's still 4 days to enter or 3 days to enter, but you can enter every day, and you can win something, and there's also a chance to win a €100 gift card, but it's all listed on the blog, so I'll just leave that below. But in the meantime, if you want to see how I achieve this look, just keep watching. As usual, at the beginning it's prep for my skin. So I use eye cream every day. That's something I would never skip, and at the moment I use my Vichy Lift Active Serum 10. This is like an eye treatment, and then nearly always go over it with some of this eye cream, which is the Origins Plantscription. I had been using the Clinique one, but this one is really lovely, and I would let this one settle in for a while and use very little of it before going over with the other one. The other one is a little bit more silicone-y, so it works really well for under eye makeup. And then of course, as we're having a heat wave here at the moment, you definitely need to make sure your skin is well protective. So at the moment I am using kind of flittering between maybe 2 or 3 different sunscreens. If I'm wearing a liquid foundation, which means I can't really top up my sunscreen throughout the day, I'm going to use something like this, which is the Sultan Once Face. This is an SPF of 30, but it lasts for 8 hours. It gives you 8 hours protection on the skin, and I wouldn't really be wearing my makeup for longer than 8 hours, so this is perfect for that. There is a normal Sultan Face, which is also an SPF of 30, but it's not the Once one. It's not the particularly long lasting. This says to reapply this one every 1 to 2 hours, so I'd only really wear that if I don't have makeup on. To deal with the shine, I'm going to go over with a light but a mattifying or just like a matte foundation. And this one is the Vichy Airton Pure. I love this guy. It's just really natural, and it gives a really natural matte kind of satin finish. This also has a light SPF, but I wouldn't really rely on my foundation for SPF. I'm going to apply a little bit of this just using a fluffy duo fibre brush. This is the Coastal Scents one, but MAC have the, I think it's the 259. No, that's wrong because it's a face brush, so it must be the 159, and it's very like this. I think it's meant to be a blusher brush, but it works beautifully for a foundation. They're just very similar. The MAC one is a little bit smaller. I'm still using my same normal light foundation, but I wouldn't allow my face to go any darker in colour, even if I do get a wee bit of a tan on my body. But I haven't, really been out in the sun enough to get any colour, and anytime I am out, I do have plenty of sunscreen on. It goes without saying for every moisturiser that you really need to let it sink in before you apply your foundation, but I think this is particularly important with sunscreen because you really need to let it soak in and do its job, like really let it protect the skin before you start adding any other products on top, because if you haven't let it settle into the skin and like do its job, you don't want to move it before it has a chance to do that by buffing other products on top. So I definitely leave a good while, like a good 15 minutes, 20 minutes if I have it, before applying my foundation. And then I'm just going to go over any kind of spotty areas with a little bit of concealer. This is my current kind of favourite one. It's the Catrice one. Their new concealer, what's it called? Their new camouflage cream. One good thing about this concealer as well is that it states on the website that once you set it with a powder, it becomes pretty waterproof. And like, I haven't gone swimming by any means, but it hasn't been moving with my sweat in the hot days, and it hasn't been separating or anything like that. I'm going to use some of my mineralized concealer now by MAC in NW20. Pop a little bit on the back of my hand, and then just use my finger to bounce it in place. I haven't really been using brushes as much recently for my daytime makeup. And then this has been, I think I've shown this already like a few times, but this has really been my go-to everyday palette, and it's by NYC, and it's one of the individualized palettes for different eye colours. This one is for brown eyes, but it is absolutely perfect for my green eyes. The kind of bronzy shade here, which is still like a reddish based brown, is perfect for my eye colour, as well as the purple and I just love it. And it comes with this eye primer, which may not be the best for very oily lids, but it's certainly grand for my own lids, which aren't, you know, particularly oily by any means. And it just grabs onto whatever powder you put on over it. And also it'll even out any skin colour. So again, just using my fingers, I apply that all over the eyelid. And then one thing I definitely would never skip any day, and that's to curl my eyelashes. I haven't done it yet today, so I'm just going to do that quickly. As a base, pretty much I've been using this bottom shade or bottom colour, which is a matte, kind of a satin matte, just neutral cream shade. It would be like maybe Brulee by MAC. A bit of a highlight, because it's kind of matte enough on the eyes. I've been using something like this or my Bourjois one, it doesn't really matter, whatever's at hand. This is Vanilla Sky Ride by Catrice. It's one of their mineral eyeshadows, and I've been using just something like that, which is quite light reflective on the inner corners and a teeny bit then just underneath the arch of my brow. And I pretty much use the same eyeshadow brush for like nearly every colour that goes on my eye. As long as I have an eyeshadow brush that's like dense enough that it'll pack on colour, but also like relatively fluffy, and I have a couple like that. This one is just my manicure. Say like the 239 by MAC is a little bit too dense, there's no fluff in it, but something like this has a bit of fluff in it, and I kind of use that for everything. Then I'm going to jump into this next MAC colour, which is very like either Wedge or Cork by MAC. I'm not sure which exactly, I'd need to see them side by side to know which one, but it could be even just like in between those two. And I just start working that lightly into the crease. Obviously, you know, concentrating on the outer corner and then working it back and forth in those wiper motions. And then you can just kind of bounce back into that lighter colour and go around the edge to blend it out. And then using the very, very tip of the brush, so you just have to be careful not to get too much down the side so you don't spread too much. And then I'll just tap off any excess. And I apply that literally just to like the outer half of my lower lids. And then just kind of pull it up into the crease colour. And then this is totally optional, if I can find a brush to show you. There's about 10 of them looking at me in the face. Do you just want a flat brush? Like the flat angle brush would do as well. And I'm just going to go into the purpley colour. And I'm literally going to work it right into the lashes. Again, in just that outer half. So it's creating a little bit of a gradient with that under eye colour. But with that flat angle, I'm going to extend a line very, very lightly up. And this is just going to work as a guideline for my eyeliner. It's as if that lower lash line is extending up. And it's a really, really handy, quick way of getting your angles pretty even. I know not everyone's eye is going to be the same, so you might have to adjust to suit your own eyes if they are a little bit uneven, but it'll work pretty well for most people. Like even my own eyes aren't even, but like 100% even, but I don't worry about them being 100% perfect either. And at least at this stage then it's easy to kind of wipe away if you see that they aren't matching up perfectly, because it's just a bit of light powder. For my eyeliner, I'm using these kind of brushes a lot, or not brushes, they would be like marker pens. This is my favourite one, it's the Physicians Formula one. The only thing is it's starting to kind of die a little bit, and I definitely want to get more because it's the best one I've ever used. It has one of those kind of calligraphy type nibs that is, you know, it's more like a brush rather than a solid pen nib. I'm only really doing the outer half of my eye. I find that it's a bit more kind of, it gives you more of a wide-eyed kind of fresh look, I suppose, particularly for summer. So, and the trick with these marker pens is not to use them over too much eyeshadow or like a really bitty eyeshadow, because that'll just ruin the nib. Just dirties the nib and it's really hard to clean it. And it kind of clogs it up, so you have to have minimal eyeshadow on. So it's perfect with this kind of look. So I just get kind of the main body of my eye on, and then I'm going to follow that line that I drew with the purple up. And you kind of do need to make sure you have a really good fluid nib for this. So if it does dry up a little bit, it can start to pull the skin, and it's really hard to get a really, like, as perfect as possible smooth line. And then you can go for like a little bit of a dip if you want, or curve it up. It's really up to yourselves. Kind of just change it to depending on my mood. So the pen just about made it, but that's it done. again, like sometimes throughout the day I'll notice, oh geez, they're not 100% matching, but it's something I wouldn't have noticed initially, so if I didn't notice initially, it's obviously not that bad. For eye mascara, even I just, something like this, whichever's at hand, I'm still using the Essence one because I'm trying to use up old ones, but I've only really been putting it on the top lashes. You can put it on the bottom lashes, no bother, and if I'm looking for something a little bit more sophisticated or like slightly more evening tonight, I might put it on the bottom lashes, but this just helps stop anything coming down, you know, from sweat or flaking off because of the heat of the sun. You can use, of course, something waterproof which is a little bit less likely to flake, or something that's perfect for preventing those flakes, or that doesn't flake, would be a tubular mascara. So that's something like the, what's that brand that does Link? They do really good, BLINC, they do really good tubular mascaras. I think they're one of the original, like they used to be sold in Screen Face for years, and it still is as far as I know. But MAC recently came out with their big, whoops, I'll worry about that in a sec. But MAC recently came out with their, no, not in Extreme, what's it called? The Extended Play Lash, and that's a tubular mascara as well. And that just means that rather than go on like a paint, it's more like a vinyl kind of coating around the lashes, so it won't flake off because it's one kind of single entity, if that makes sense, and you need warm water to slide it off in the evening. So it's really good for anyone who worries about flaking, and they're really good for the bottom lashes, not only because they won't flake but also because it's a tiny little brush. I've been keeping the eyebrows pretty natural for the daytime as well, and just running a clear like gel or mascara through them. Then since the sunblock that I'm using, particularly the Once one, is still quite sheeny kind of underneath the foundation, I've been using quite a matte powder. This one's really inexpensive, it's by e.l.f. I've had it for years. It's their Complexion Perfection powder, and it looks weird, like it, obviously it's multicoloured, but it just goes on like, you know, translucent on the skin. It's really good for very pale skin, and what I like about it is that it's quite matte, like it's totally taken down the shine, but it doesn't cake and it doesn't make me look dry. It literally just mattifies the shine, which I love, and I apply it up, you know, up to the orbital bone, but I don't apply it underneath the eye. Kind of like having a bit of a sheen there anyhow. I think this kind of powder comes, this particular powder comes in like 3 different shades, so you can definitely check that out on their website. Depending on how much time I have, I will do a bit of contouring and highlighting. So my Zoeva bronzer, this guy here, it's a mineral bronzer. I just did a blog post on this actually, so you can see it there, but I've been applying this, say picking up a little bit from the pot and then swirling it around in the lid, tapping off any excess, kind of the same way you would with the Bare Mineral stuff. And just use it lightly on the contours of my face, just like underneath the cheekbone and then along the temple. I'm not going crazy contouring or anything, but it's nice just to add a teeny bit of definition, especially as I am so pale during the summer, so far anyhow. And for my go-to blush, it's pretty much been Dainty. That's the one I've been using loads lately. Pop it all over the apple of my cheek and work it up into my temple. And that just gives a really nice kind of lift to the face, but it's not like in your face like crazy Bosco-y. I have my lip primer. I haven't been using a lip pencil every day either. I'll use it now just because I do use it if I think that I won't have time to touch up my lipstick or whatever, and I don't often have loads of time to touch it up. I'm just going to grab one. So magenta has been getting a lot of love lately, and as usual I'm going to fill in the entire lips. And I'm just going to perfect the outline quickly. And then one thing I've been doing since it's a daytime look, more so, is get a lip brush like this, and I kind of run it slightly around the very outside of that line just to kind of diffuse it and make it not quite so harsh for daytime. There's a few lipsticks that I have been flithering between for the last, say, month or two. I'm going to use this new one though by Catrice, and I think I'm going to do a separate maybe video on my top 5 lipsticks for this summer or for the moment, because there are some that I've been loving. Like particularly I've been using the Nicki Minaj one, This is the original Nikki one by MAC. It's funny because it was one that I really didn't like initially, but I really love it now, and particularly over a cool lip liner like this. Similar with this one here by Catrice. This is the 250 Matte About Pink Ultimate Colour. So it's one of their matter ones, and it's, you know, quite a coral one, but I like kind of evening out, say, warmth of this with the cool lip liner underneath. Sorry, I think I'm going out of focus there, that's why I keep checking here, but I'm just going to pop this over the lips. I just apply it directly from the bullet first to get the colour down. If I need to, I'll grab a little bit on my lip brush again and then just kind of brush it up into the line. So that's pretty much it. That's my go-to signature look of the moment, like this, with this hot weather and like this summer. So it's definitely the lips that I've been focusing on, and I'll just zoom out for you. Yeah, so that's it, totally done. It's like, it really doesn't take as long as obviously this video took, because I wouldn't be blabbing, and because it's something I'm pretty much doing every day, it doesn't take me as long. But this would be more or less what I'm doing on a daily basis when I am wearing makeup. I don't wear makeup every day. My backside is actually sliding off the chair from the sweat, but yeah, I'm going to leave it at that because I need to start moving around, and I'm going to try and get this up before my holiday. I need to film another couple of videos today now to have up while I'm gone, and I'll chat to you all really soon, guys. As normal, there's going to be a full list of products and stuff like that on my blog, always linked to below, and I'll chat to you all really soon. Slán!